and movies, but mostly music. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Minions of the Zoo. I am your host, Johnny Hellcat, and with me today are minions the Hey Camel.
Good evening.
And resident historian, Christorian, FAR.
Oh, God. Hi, I have chocolate in my mouth. I'm sorry.
And this time, it's not my fault. Actually, no, it is. But
That all depends on when you hit the button, because you're not,
I'm still 6 minutes late, so yeah, it's still my fault. But what's life without inconsistency?
Ordered and well balanced.
Fairly organized.
Yeah, and we don't want that.
No.
Yes, I hope everyone likes my setup here, because I worked hard on it.
And of course, we do have the update of being seen at Walmart. Was that officially?
The merge is on. Yes, the merge is on, guys.
Officially,
There's a lot going on in that background.
Yeah. So yeah, officially, if you haven't heard, Chris is back, kind of.
Back again.
A sighting like the Yeti.
Well, that's the funny thing. It's not just one sighting.
It's multiple.
It's two sightings. At least two sightings.
Oh.
If not a third of him just randomly walking around a mall somewhere. So yeah, I feel like a great place to start is like basically just with his arrest, right? Because like we don't really know a lot about what happened on the inside beyond like a couple of things.
Yeah.
Do you guys want to start there? Right?
That's fine with me. Yeah.
Yeah. Current news.
Okay?
We'll start with that.
Okay, so Chris is arrested. I mean, we all fucking know this, right? He did horrendous things to his own mother. He
what?
tried to soul bond.
If I'm not
He soul
mistaken,
bonded with his own mother.
if I'm not mistaken, wasn't his arrest also broken by another lolcow?
Yes. Yeah, you can go see Chris getting arrested by I think it's
Ethan Ralph.
I think it's Ethan Ralph. Yeah, and who Null of the Kiwi Farms absolutely fucking hates, and yeah, I think the feeling is mutual there, which is kind of hilarious if you ever actually look into Ethan Ralph, even just a little bit of just how far this man is willing to go to kind of try and fuck over Null in some way.
Well, I mean, just related to the Chris Chan. I remember did he strike Blair White for using his video of the arrest?
I don't know, but I could believe it, honestly. Like,
I would not be
weirdo.
surprised.
He's an absolute fucking weirdo. But the whole reason
that's a whole other deep dive right there.
I was gonna say that's a whole other strand over there.
Whole deep dive, honestly. Yeah. And I'm not an Ethan Ralph person. Like, I just know bare basic shit.
Well,
so,
I mean, he's had a lot of stuff going on after the Chris Chan video, you know.
Oh,
so
yes.
That's multiple streamers, multiple streams. That's a whole other ball of wax.
It really is. But a thing to note with that, though, just that I find really fucking funny. You know the whole reason he went to go stream, like Chris getting arrested, because he didn't even know he was going to get arrested, right? He just happened to be there. He just wanted to go bother Chris. You want to know why?
Why?
It was to piss off Null. That was the only reason. He doesn't even live near where Chris got arrested. He had to go out of his fucking way to get there.
Yeah, because arrest was in Virginia, right?
Yes. Because Chris lives in Virginia, as you can see right next to my head here. True love in Virginia is illegal in Virginia. So, you know, he very much is in Virginia.
I'm trying to remember where Ralph was at that time, because
yeah,
he's
forget,
last I heard he's
in
Mexico now, like currently. But
yeah, like usually not.
I want to say
Virginia,
he was
think
in
it's safe to
Tennessee.
say.
It's like, you know, so he crossed state lines to go film
Yes,
Chris.
yeah, and it wasn't even. Keep in mind, right? No one knew Chris was getting arrested at this point. And the reason why Chris got arrested at all, or I mean, they were probably going to do it anyway, honestly, at some point. But the reason it got sped up is because Chris kind of admitted to Null, like, yeah, because Null was kind of taking care of Chris at this point in a weird way, right? So he had access to certain things, like bank account thing, like not to take shit out, right? Like to be perfectly honest, Null was being a very good person about this, and I don't say that lightly, right? Like Null was actually kind of looking out for Chris, along with I think Marvin was as well, but mainly Null is important here. And he notices that someone's moved money out of Barb's account into Chris's PayPal.
Well,
Chris took money
for
from his own mother.
for the uninitiated though, who is Null again?
He is the guy that runs Kiwi Farms. So if you ever go on there and you see all the updates and shit, that's all Null. That's all him. He runs the farms. He made the farms. Like he's the guy you go to for that shit.
Gotcha.
So if you need dirt, he's your guy.
Pretty much, yeah. He does his own stream, like the Mad at the Internet. So if you're ever interested in lolcow shit,
I think I saw.
I don't usually watch it, but it that exists. So,
I think I saw a stream with him and Medicare.
Yeah, I believe Medicare did do a stream with him. I think that also ties back to the. Does that also tie back to Ralph, or is that Keffels? I think that ties back to Keffels.
Keffels is more recent, to be quite honest.
Yeah.
Like way more recent. If it was a stream with Medica, it probably would have been Ralph. Just me guessing.
Well, I mean,
anyway.
Yeah. Again,
anyway,
whole other.
This is a whole other can. Like this is a whole other beast entirely. But the main point here is that Null had access to things on the inside, right? That let him know that Chris took money from his own mother. That's basically the gist of it. And all you really need to know there. And Null kind of confronts him, and Chris goes, "Well, yeah, I don't have money. Like my tugboat, as he calls it. That's his government payment. Yeah, he calls it his monthly tugboat. He actually does that.
Tugboat.
Yeah, there's a whole reason why he calls it the tugboat. I forget the exact reasoning. It's something about it being like as consistent as like a tugboat coming in. I forget the exact reason, but it's the tugboat. His tugboat wasn't really coming in until like a little bit later, and he really wanted to stay at a motel, so yeah, he took the money. He's not supposed to, though, for multiple reasons. One, it's just scummy to do that to your elderly mother that you may or may not have diddled. Like, what the fuck? And two, at this point, Chris actually had a legal thing going on where he wasn't actually allowed to contact Barb at all. Like, at all. That's why he wasn't at home. He was at that motel because he wasn't allowed to be at the Solitude Temple, which, aka Chris's house. So...
I can't believe I was going to ask where that was.
Yeah.
Oh my god, never mind.
He actually calls it the Solitude Temple. It's a whole thing when you get into his delusional stuff, like, way later down the track. Yeah, Solitude Temple. It both funny but depressing, honestly. Just
well, see, like I was praising the Flying Spaghetti Monster earlier today on Twitter. Is there a Church of the Sonichu? Like,
but that's the Sonichu Temple.
Yeah. I mean, it has a temple. I mean,
that's what the Sonichu Temple is.
It hasn't upgraded yet.
He is a CPU goddess. You know, he is a Blue Heart CPU goddess, aka Jesus Christ Chan, so, Go go to his house. And
I was just wondering how fleshed out just wondering how fleshed out the church was, like in its doctrine, and does it have a tax status?
Well, Chris did write his own commandments, so he's got that going on for him.
Oh, I need to read
these. It's all basically the same thing.
I'm now just thinking of like Chris Chan in History of the World Part 1, you know. I bring you these 10 commandments.
Yeah. Yeah, I should read those commandments off at some point, because it's the same shit over and over. Maybe after we get through the update bit here, right? So yeah, he basically just confirms to Null, right? Yeah, I took the money because I want to stay in a motel and buy toys. Because yeah, that's Chris's prerogative in life. I gotta buy me some Legos, my man. And of course, Null is a human being, right? What do human beings usually do when faced with situations like this? Where you are trying your damnedest to be taking care of an individual who probably doesn't really deserve you taking care of them, and they do something so fucking horrendous, like fuck their own mother, and then take money off them despite not legally being able to even contact her. You contact the cops.
Okay, so I wasn't quite sure of what the timeline was there, because I didn't realize the
yeah.
You know, he asked about the money.
So this
like,
is post.
He knew about the fucking the mom thing, and then asked about the money.
This was here's the thing, right? So the actual order of events is Bella, who I refuse to get into, not because I don't find her interesting in her own right, but it gets a bit weird when you start really deep diving, right? It like go do your own research.
We've seen the
that.
Alex videos. Yeah. We're good.
Oh, okay, yeah.
But what I mean though is that her family, they tend to have a real they tend to have really good luck at taking shit down, which is why I'm hesitant to go into it.
Temper tantrums.
The only thing
not even temper, they're just good at it. It's what they do. Unironically, it's what they do.
I remember walking into one of Alex's streams about said person, and he had a picture of said person up on, you know,
soulless, right? Absolutely soulless, right?
The only thing I could think to describe this person as was, she looks crunchy.
Yeah, that is an appropriate take as well, to be honest.
And
she looks crunchy.
I vaguely remember what he was talking about at the time, and I'm just like, no, I don't want to be here anymore.
She's very disturbing. Like the other reason.
I'll wait until you drop another Lord Bear video, and then I'll be back. Peace.
Now,
it's just.
Now, when I saw the video, I saw like a flash, just like I click on the video, and it's one of those. You catch a glimpse of someone and you're like, oh, hello. And then like I'll just go back and see who that was. Oh God! Like that's what that was.
Yeah, it's but yeah, Bella is another one where she's her own beast entirely. So yeah, Bella has the conversation, the infamous recorded call, right, of Chris admitting to what he's done. She clips a bit of it.
Look up Bella Janky. That's what crunchy is.
Yes, that is
that you,
oh God.
She
is not a crunchy bar, but she is crunchy. So
here, let me just put it this way: it's kind of like how the Supreme Court defined pornography. You know, you'll know it when you see it. All right.
Yeah, it's unfortunately it's true. You'll know it when you see it. I don't. When I first saw, like, I swear I'll get back on topic here, right? When I first saw Bella, I didn't actually think crunchy. I was more looking at the eyes, because that's usually what I go for when I look at pictures of people, right? Just, okay, like, because that's usually what draws you, right? Just, what is the look in their eye?
Apparently I'm way more vain than that, but yeah, I got to the eyes later on, but like, everything else just said crunchy.
Yeah, but it was the eyes that really.
I can't explain it, but that's just the word that came to mind.
No. If you look into her hygiene habits, yeah, no, crunchy makes very sense. But moving swiftly on though, holy shit! Because the only reason to know about Bella is just the fact of like, yeah, she recorded the conversation, right? She then leaks it to a girl that is the second person ever to want to fuck Chris Chan. No, I wish I was not kidding there, but we do not say her name just as courtesy, because just out of courtesy to her, like because she's not actually a bad person, like the Sutress, as Kiwi Farms decided to call her. Like I know what her name is, but like I kind of agree with that.
Take care, Mash.
Have a good night, Mash.
Yeah, see ya. But yeah, because this girl is just like just to give perspective on it, she no, she's not dead. She got sent to a mental hospital for a little bit there after the shit went down. Like that's what I mean. It's like she's not really okay.
Yeah, animals were involved. Very sociopathic behavior.
Yeah, that's Bella though, not the Sutress. The Sutress had nothing to do with that shit. She was separate. Yeah, all the animal shit that you see, like that's all Bella. The Sutress was kind of like a weird victim in a lot of this, to be quite honest with you. But she leaks the whole thing with Bella. Like Bella leaks the whole thing with the Sutress, and the Sutress looks at this and goes, what the actual fuck? Because she may be autistic and she may want to fuck Chris, but she's still looking at this like, what the fuck? Right? So she decided, the whole reason why we even got the leak is because the Sutress decided to clip it herself and post it, which Bella wasn't very happy with.
Hey, Pat.
Like, at all, because I think, hi Pat, but because I think Bella was actually intending to leak it herself at some point, or like use it as blackmail or some shit. Because I don't know, it's Bella.
Well,
it's fucking Bella. But the point is,
from my understanding of Alex's video, is she was going to use that to build up, talking him into killing himself.
Yeah, that sounds about right. That would have probably been a plan. There was also a plan of her going, because Chris was trying to go to some con in Washington State, and there was a plan involving that and getting her and getting Chris and the Sutress alone, so the Sutress could go fuck Chris, and then like something about assault allegations coming out of that, like just fucking weird.
Oh, I think I know who you're talking about now.
Yeah, like just there's a reason why like I'm not naming who the Sutress is. You could, if you really want to know, you can go find out, right? I don't
Alex talks about it in the video
recommend
also.
Going and spreading it. Yeah, like because there was a period of time where there wasn't such a everyone was just saying her name, not calling her the Sutress. I'm just doing it out of courtesy. If you really want to find it, you can find it.
It's
But I'm yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just don't think it's a good idea to spread it this far because it's so.
Yeah.
The more I learn about this story, the less I wish I knew. So, I'm fine.
Yeah, exactly.
Being
it's
in
just
the dark here.
It's like it's kind of just the same way it is with another one called the Wallflower. You know, it's just courtesy at this point. I guess if you really wanted to learn who the Wallflower was, you probably could. But I don't know. I don't really want to know. I don't think it's really fair to these people. There's already enough, like, people like Megan Schroeder that are associated with this, right? You know, where you know their full name. It's kind of just, yeah. You're better off not. Just not spreading it anymore. If they want to find out, they can find out. But point is, so Fiona... Fuck, I fucked up. Sutress. I'm trying hard here, because I'm saying the name in my head. Because I was, like, looking at the shit, right? Fuck. Whoops. Never mind.
You never heard that.
You never heard that. It's the Sutress. It's always been the Sutress. So she leaks it, and everyone, you know, quickly sees this thing, and they're like, what the fuck is going on with Chris? I didn't think it was legitimate for a while. Like, it was obviously Chris speaking, because Chris has a very particular way of talking, right? Where it's, only the likes of Liquid Chris have been able to replicate the way he speaks, and even then you can tell Liquid Chris apart from Chris pretty easily. Right? But the question was always, is this, like, in Chris's head, or did he actually do it? And I personally thought he just did it in his head for a while there, because, I mean... Yeah! Who the fuck thinks that someone's going to actually do that, right? Like, no one. But, so... That gets leaked. I guess someone calls the cops or some shit, right? Because, of course, it's Chris. They probably... God, the amount of times the cops have probably been called on Chris is just ridiculous. Like, I found out the other day, he actually got blacklisted from... Like, his address got blacklisted from fucking Papa John's. So, yeah, he can no longer get Papa John's pizza delivered to his house because so many people ordered pizzas. Can you imagine what it's like for the cops when it comes to Chris?
Oh, man.
But, so... Yeah, someone contacts the cops, they come to his house, they take Barb away and tell Chris, listen, you can't... No contact order, you gotta leave. So, Chris leaves, and somewhere in this period of time, right, because Null doesn't really know for sure, right? Like, but... Well, he knows, I think, because before this, Chris was already kind of telling him some things, just not who he was doing it with. He was just saying to Null, oh yeah, I met an older lady and we're in a relationship and things of that nature, right? Never revealing the whole time this lady was, well, his own mother. So, Null kind of had
I met this nice Canadian girl, you don't know her, she goes to a different school.
Yeah, right? So... When this shit came out, Null probably had the realization of like, oh, fucking hell, Chris, really? You know? But he's still kind of, I guess he was still kind of going, like, benefit of the doubt, right? Because Chris is Chris, he's fucking crazy. Who knows, at the end of the day, right? Unless they found actual evidence, which I believe they probably did if they were holding him for this fucking long, right? Yeah, who knows? He wasn't arrested at this point. It was all allegations. So he's still kind of helping him, and then, he even suggests, like, just, if money is such an issue, just live out of your car for, like, 2 days until you get your tugboat. Like, seriously, it was only a couple of days, or something ridiculous like that, until he got his money. That's all he had to wait. But he had to have his money now, right?
Would you call Chris Chan a YouTube star?
Technically, I guess. I guess you could call that as much as he could be called the first Let's Player, to be honest.
Okay.
Yeah. So, yeah, then he takes the... So, then Chris goes and takes the money, which directly violates the no contact order. So, Null kind of... has to inform the authorities that this has occurred. So, yeah, the whole reason Chris got arrested, it wasn't necessarily because he did the no-no thing with his own mother. It was because he violated the no contact. And Null notified them of this fact. He was probably held because of the whole, like, mother incident. So, just, yeah, like, just something to point out there. And no one really knew that Chris was going to get arrested that day when Ethan Ralph turned up. Ethan Ralph was there just to fucking... just to, you know, interact with Chris and to piss Null off. That is important to note.
So to be fat and irritating.
Yes, exactly. Like, he was just there to be irritating. And to piss Null off, because that seems to be one of his missions of life. Piss Null off, no matter what. So... But, so, yeah, so he turns up, on a mission. He's a man on a mission. And it just happens that Chris is getting arrested at that moment. It was just a weird coincidence. But in a weird way, I'm kind of glad that Ethan Ralph was so determined to fuck with Null by going through Chris. Because otherwise we would not have seen Chris getting arrested. Which is, as weird as that sounds, I know, it's like, oh, you want to see the weirdo get arrested? Well, as long as it's... Well, because it's just like some weirdo already seeking another weirdo. I don't really feel bad about it, right? Because weirdos are going to be weirdos and seek Chris out. I don't recommend it. Don't really know why you do it, but if you're doing it, I'll look at the shit. Why not? So yeah, Chris gets arrested, and he gets his charge ends up being incest with own child, because what he's done is just apparently so rare that it's not a drop-down option. You gotta give it to Chris. He's
he's an
quite
innovator.
Unique. He is an innovator of the greatest kind. I mean, he is the first Let's Player, I'll have you know.
Oh my god.
God, natural-born trailblazer.
Yeah, basically. So Chris goes to prison. Yeah, jail, prison. I forget the difference between it. It's the one before you get convicted.
Jail.
Jail. There we go. Yeah, Chris goes to jail. And this is essentially where we lose a lot of contact and understanding of what happened to Chris. The only way that any information really came out about Chris during this period is through, well, court stuff before that got really fucking just sealed away. Because, yeah, he got his stuff, like, court sealed. So you only see the bare basics of shit when it comes to Chris now. And letters that he sent out. And by the end of his stay, he stopped sending so many letters. Not really sure why. Part of it might be because of, he might have been told by someone, because he definitely sent a lot less letters when he got sent, because he got sent to a psych ward at one point, right?
Who was he sending letters to?
And just people that would send, like, people would go and send him letters, and then he would send letters back. And that, just anyone that would write him, and he felt like, yeah, they're on my side.
I'm internet famous.
Just imagine the amount of letters he was getting of just people going like, wow, you motherfucker. You know?
I mean, there were women proposing to Ted Bundy when he was on death row, so I'm not all that shocked that people were writing to Chris Chan.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, but it's through the letters that you really understand just how
I don't think anyone was proposing to Chris Chan.
Probably not. But
I mean,
it's really through
it
letters.
It's internet people that are writing to him, so I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, in these letters he kept talking about how like I'm gonna be let out any day now. Yeah, I was just soul bonding with Bob, nothing to worry about. Like, yeah, he actually used the term soul bonding. I'm not joking about that one. When I say soul bonding, that's what that's referring to. It's Chris going, yeah, that's what happened. Just weird, incriminating shit he would write. Where it's like, Chris, you know that the prison staff are reading these, right? And saving copies. Right? Obviously, he didn't think that far.
Chris has a lawyer, correct? Like,
oh, he does, and that lawyer is working pro bono.
Or
that the lawyer is working pro bono, like, and he's like doing it apparently out of the goodness of his heart. But it's like, dude, do you really want to be doing that for Chris?
Who do you lose a bet to?
I don't know. Apparently it's just what a particular lawyer does. Quite honestly, from what I understand, but yeah, it's another.
I mean, I would figure like
Chris
the attorney
being very lucky.
I would figure the attorney would be like, "Hey, shut the fuck up."
Well, that's interestingly enough, that's probably why Chris hasn't actually officially come back to the internet. Like
the one place.
But like, yeah, like the second he found out, it's like, "Oh, you're getting mail from who? What are you saying to them?
Well, he can't really.
Don't do that."
Yeah, like you could like try and suggest him like to not say stuff, but you can't like stop him from sending letters.
Well, that's like the first piece of lawyering you learn in law school is, first thing you say to your client is, "Shut the fuck up."
Yeah.
Don't say a word.
Yeah, but it's Chris.
Don't tell anybody. Chris, so. Nothing.
Yeah, but unfortunately, Chris isn't like that. He always has to, he always has to say something to try and clear the air. Never does, but But yeah, the letters really seem to not stop, but definitely slow down after the psych visit, and he only starts like sending letters to a couple of people. And those people are very much weirdly on Chris's side. Like, it's very strange. It's very fucking strange. Like, he'll send them letters where it's like, he'll write, "Yeah, post this online," because he's kind of aware people are posting the letters online. But don't post this part online. And I guess
for someone who's been on the internet for as long as he has, you should know.
Yeah, you'd think you'd know better.
That's the fastest way to get it posted online, is to tell someone not to post it.
Yeah, it's just these, the people that he sends those kinds of letters to, though, some of them... I'm thinking of one guy in particular where he's just really fucking weird. Sometimes he's on Chris's side, sometimes he's not. So some of the letters where he had, specific instructions of not to post it online, he's posted them now. But there's others where he hasn't. So it's a very weird situation going on there, right? But, okay, so before he got released into the wild, there weren't really many letters that were coming out, if any. So we had no fucking idea what was going on. Right? Like, and keep in mind, it's all from Chris. You have to take it with a grain of salt, right? Because Chris is a known liar. But still, weird information is better than no information if you're really seeking it.
Yeah.
And, yeah, nothing was coming out. Until, well, the whole thing of him being released, the bail, right? The bail that wasn't really bail. It was listed as bail for some reason. No one really knows why, but it was released by court order.
So he didn't have to post bail? They just said, ROR? Or...
Yeah. Yeah, so there may be a reason for that, right? If I show... 1 minute. Window. So there may be a reason why he's like this. Just been released, right? So here is not the latest one, but one I saved from just something I found really interesting. Like, see, look, incest with own child, Commonwealth of VA, right? And this is just how locked down his account, like his whole court thing is now. Right?
That's
barely
the
any
process.
information. Yes.
Okay.
So this right here, this was about a year ago, alright? For autism disorder deferral. What the fuck does that mean? I don't know, but a lot of people aren't really quite 100% sure, but the general gist of what it probably is the autism get out of free card. Yeah, Chris is notorious for being able to get out of court shit. Because if you look at any of Chris's other court stuff, right, you'll just see deferral, like deferral, right? just over and over again. Not deferral, continuance. That's what it is, right? It's just continuance after continuance. Because no one wants to deal with him. And eventually it gets to the point of just, like, it's either dropped or he just has to pay a fine. These things go on for years, too, which is the wild part. Like, he gets out of so much just...
I can kind of think of what a deferral means, but in this context, I'm trying to just look to get a better context of it. So I look up just deferral, and it says the act of deferring. I'm like, that is of no fucking help. Like,
that is a very shitty definition.
But
thank you, American Heritage Dictionary, for doing absolutely fucking nothing.
Well, in my limited knowledge of the law, usually a deferral is like a deferred sentence, where it's kind of like being on probation as long as you don't fuck up again, for a certain amount of time.
Well, being
the sentence will be, usually expunged.
Well, yeah, usually.
From your record.
Yeah, but...
usually, like, because I work with insurance, so a referral would be a suggestion. A deferral, I guess, would be saying no, this might not be a good idea.
Yeah, but that's the thing, though, right? Like, that's probably what's going on. Chris is they're probably trying to do the get out of jail free card, right?
That's right, Mr. Deck. So Matlock and Law and Order finally paying off for your boy Camel here.
My 20-year law degree. That didn't stop. That didn't start at 21. Those seasons don't exist.
And I got a master's in Perry Mason also. So yeah.
Yeah, but
I got a minor.
But yeah, so just for everything going forward, just keep this autism deferral in mind, right? Because this was about a year ago. Almost a year ago, actually, exactly. If you look at the date there, I think. Or is that wrong? Yeah, no, that's wrong. Sorry, I'm looking at it like everyone else in the world, not an American. Sorry.
Oh, you mean like like everyone else who hasn't landed on the moon? So
shut
wrong.
The fuck up. Yeah, sorry. I'm reading
August.
That's May, not the other way.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry. Anyway. Sorry about that.
So that's the metric system and this is backwards calendar dates. So we got it.
So yeah, this is important though, right? So after this point, it's not a lot comes out, right? Maybe a couple of letters, a couple of artworks, because he's also sending artworks. Although who knows if they're all really from Chris? They might be someone else drawing them, so pray to console them. But then the news comes, like, a couple of months ago, right? Chris is getting released! Christian Weston Chandler walks the earth.
So would that be further down, or...
No, this is...
That's the last one, okay, yeah.
Yeah, this is, as of the autism deferral. No, this is, the last one. This is from that point in time. Because I was interested, right? So I saved the image. As just I'll just nab that. Because look at everything on this. It's like, holy shit, Chris. But so yeah, this is not an up-to-date one, just so you're all aware. Yeah, so because the whole it's pretty much sealed. Right? You're not getting a lot of information out except for shit like autism disorder deferral, continued hearing, close to hearing, for treatment for incomplete, just shit like that. It's so minimal. All anyone really knew was that Chris either had bail, which was changed at some point, because it wasn't bail, it was by court order. So he was released by court order, and no one knew exactly where he went, if he'd just been... If we had the homeless saga starting, or if we now had, a group home saga going on. No one fucking knew. And, so, sometime later, right, everyone's just kind of wondering, where the fuck is Chris, right? Well, they found him. They found him in a Walmart.
I do appreciate that.
Oh yeah, I did too. That's why I took a screenshot of it when I saw it, because it's like, that is fucking gold. The amount of just jokes I've seen people making of Chris being Bigfoot or a cryptid or some shit, it's fucking amazing. Because it's yeah.
There's the picture that Fugi tagged us in, and it's like
yes,
you see Chris from the neck down, and his face is just obvious, like just blatantly behind the sign. I'm like, oh, that's Bigfoot if I've ever seen one.
But yeah, it's Chris, because there's multiple photos of him in this Walmart, and this may seem very creepy to people, right? It's like, oh my god, why are you going through Walmart pictures? Well, he's out in public. It's not as if people were bothering him for these, right? It's just, oh shit, look, it's Chris, right?
Aw shit, Chris is coming.
Oh shit, Chris is here again. But yeah, it's obviously Chris. He's got a Sonatry medallion. But yeah,
Master of Disguise.
He's seen in a Walmart. No, absolutely fucking not. But interesting thing, right? So in these photos, God, let me just. Yeah, so this is more Walmart, right? So people looked at these photos because you can see prices in them, right? Yeah, this is the original Bigfoot one.
Oh, damn it, I was muted. I was going to ask, what version of the Sonatry medallion is that? Is that like Mark II, Mark III?
It's probably beyond Mark III, to be honest. But we don't really know because it's possible. There's two things that could have happened here, right? Either because jail works, you know, they take your shit off you and they itemize it and bag it, right? And they give you back all your shit when you leave, right?
Yes, I've broken the law. I know how jail works.
Yeah, but I'm just saying it, right?
At least one of us has.
Basic. I'm just saying it as like a basic thing, right? Of like just stating that's how it works, right?
Yeah.
So he was wearing the Sonatry medallion when he was arrested. So it means one of two things. Either this is the same medallion he was arrested in, or it's a new one he's made because it broke somehow during his time in prison.
Well, I don't know. That's Crayola fucking magic. It doesn't just break.
Yeah, Crayola fucking model magic. But
well, I mean,
that's the thing.
I do recall what happened to the first one, and I'm just trying to keep count here.
Yeah, I don't even bother keeping count because it's just I don't know. I feel like I think he's made a few over the years. Like it's just more funny. He still fucking wears it.
Now that would be on like the $1,000 tier, right? If you wanted to buy a Chris Chan.
Oh no, he sold them like for cheaper.
That's part of his summer collection.
Yeah, no, he did sell like handmade Sonatry medallions for a while there. But so people when they saw these photos, right? Because what's to determine if this is from before he was arrested, right? Because there's been a couple of incidents of that happening, where people have like posted photos of Chris online and being like, "Look, I found Chris," especially after just during this period of like no one knowing where he even was, just that he was free. And very easy to prove those ones were before the arrest, just for various reasons. So of course people started scrutinizing these, right? The prices were an indicator that this is modern. It matches all the prices on Walmart. Like
tracking inflation has done us something good for once.
Yeah, so like they were able to go onto the website and like look at these items that you see the prices for, match them up, and go, yeah, that's a modern day picture. But one of the key things is this right here. See this? Oh, fuck! I didn't mean to do that. This right here.
The TV.
The MetaQuest.
Where it says MetaQuest.
Okay, yeah.
MetaQuest was only... The meta rebranding for Facebook only took place after Chris was arrested.
Oh. Okay.
So that was, while Chris was in jail, which means if this was a pre-Chris, pre-prison or jail photo, right?
Free range.
Yeah. If this, pre-jail photo, right? This would be not MetaQuest. It would be like something Facebook, right?
Gotcha. Okay, yeah.
And that's what really made it sink in. Like, no, this is real. This is actually Chris wandering around a Walmart in Virginia somewhere. And
the meta rebranding has finally served a purpose to let us know
like, it actually served a fucking purpose.
Brand new Christian photo.
Zuckerberg is the #1 Christian hunter.
Yeah, but so not only was that confirmed, right, the thing that actually really fucking impresses me is how quickly the people in Kiwi Farms actually managed to locate which Walmart this fucking was using interior shots of the fucking Walmart. And what the closest group home would be.
That's impressive because do you know how often they rearrange Walmarts?
Yeah, like that's what I mean. It's like I find it damn fucking impressive because there is like also a video clip of him walking outside the Walmart, I think, but there's not really a lot to go off in that clip either. Like it's so minimal the amount of information.
I'm surprised they weren't able to like track contrails in the sky to flight patterns with the FAA, and
they found him easier than Shia LaBeouf's flag.
To capture the flag, right? Like it's internet autism to a fucking T. Honestly, but I am like weirdly impressed by it just for the sheer fact of like you had so little to go on. But you figured it out. But
I think internet autism is a great. It's great proof that the government isn't really serious about catching terrorists. Like how long did it take to track down Osama bin Laden? Like
that is something I did say when this all came out, right? I think I said it to Platty. Like man, imagine if all these people put their time and effort into like locating like, I don't know, unidentified people or just they went on missing people cases, right? Like imagine if they were actually working in some kind of law enforcement and actually, you know, doing actual cop work that the cops seem to refuse to do. How many cases would be like just solved? But no, here they are, figure out which fucking Walmart that Chris was in. It's just amusing to me, honestly. So they're choosing, they have great powers and they're choosing it for frankly just very hilarious things in my opinion. But so this was on May 1st. Keep that in mind, alright? And there was a lot of speculation that, well, Chris is at a group home, because it's the only way one of the only ways he could probably be out, right? Like, he's been sent to a group home, and, at the time, it was thought that this was, a once-a-month outing, because some group homes do that, right? They take their residents, and they take them to whatever location, say, a Walmart, a game store, whatever the fuck, right? And that's their once-a-month outing. Like, if again, zooming on this picture, he's obviously looking at a list here, right, that someone's given him. Because this is, like, not really Chris behavior here. Of, you know, using a list. And actually buying shit he probably needs. They probably gave him the list as, like, now, Chris, make sure you get your, essentials.
His lawyer's
like,
in the parking lot.
Actual other clothes. And so yeah, everyone thought this was the once-a-month outing, and so it was thrown out there that, hey, if it's a good way of checking if this is a once-a-month outing, see if he comes back to the same Walmart on June 1st. Turns out, no idea if that's even going to be a thing now, because, we go back some. There was a second sighting on May 2nd. He's in a game store. Doing the card games. He's sitting there playing. So, I don't know what the fuck's going on, to be honest with you. Like, he could be in a group home, a very lax group home, but that's very bizarre considering what he was in jail for all these years. Right?
Yeah.
But again, that autism deferral... You can see why it's important to keep the autism deferral in mind now, right? Because he's just able to walk free. He truly might have gotten out of jail free.
Gross.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? And but yeah, he's just here playing a card game, right? I mean, so this is May 2nd.
You know, thinking about it, you know, dementia patient, victim. Yeah, possibly.
How big is this town?
So it's pretty much that this is I think this is Midlothian. I think is the town name. If anyone knows that, like I think it's big enough, right? But the other thing is that people here aren't probably really going to know who Chris is, because everyone in Charlottesville or Ruckersville or wherever the fuck, I forget which of the two, but both are very important for Chris places. Both are places he's lived in. In those places, people know who Chris is because he's just that fucking annoying, right? And getting kicked out and being banned from just everywhere. And I mean fucking everywhere. So yeah, a lot of people know who Chris is in those places. He probably would not have that degree of infamy here. And yeah, because, sure, a lot more people know who Chris is now because of how the way the news broke out when he was arrested and all that, right? But that's the thing. You can't take people knowing online as... the same as people life. IRL knowing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Like, just because it trends on Twitter doesn't really mean shit. You know? People are still going to be very much unaware of what the meaning of that Sonichu medallion is. So as a result, yeah, he's just some weirdo in their mind, unless someone tells them otherwise. Which, you could, whatever you think about that, it is what it is. But,
I can just feel a dude in the flannel shirt with the safety glasses on his cap probably wouldn't be like elbow to shoulder if he knew what was what.
Yeah, right? Like, he probably wouldn't want to be even touching him.
So the total
probably
population...
doesn't even really want to be touching him now.
Total population showing 18,320. Now, chances are, there are people who do know who he is.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
But there's enough people not to care.
But there are at least two people that do know who he is, because, fun fact, he has an aunt and uncle that live in this place. Same aunt and uncle that were helping Bob at one point, after all was said and done.
Hmm.
Oh.
Isn't that just interesting, right? Right. So this is not the only sighting, so it was 1 and 2, right? I thought this was the only 2 and there may be more after this, right? I haven't actually gone and looked today. So there may be more. I don't know. But there is one more. There he is. Doing the true Bigfoot pose.
Yep, that's the one from the Quickie.
Yeah. But yeah, he's just walking around a mole here. So there's been not 1, not 2, but 3 sightings of Chris.
Which means there's enough people in this town to know exactly who he is.
Yeah. like, there's at least 3 individuals, 5 if you include his relatives, that know exactly who Chris is, and you know, going to be like, oh look, it's Chris, and taking pictures whenever they see him.
It's time to go to work.
Yeah, time to get up for work.
Do my duty. But yeah, that's the Chris sightings though, right? And the interesting thing is though, so May 1st, because he was at the Walmart, and it was also something I didn't say is the guy that took the pictures at the Walmart claimed a couple of things that I find very interesting. One is that Chris bought a Switch, apparently. And 2, and he didn't take pictures of this because of, yeah, there was more people in this thing than Chris, right? Chris got into a black van that was being driven by a very big black woman. I don't know why that he specifically had to say that what race she was, but that's the information given, right? And yeah, and then they took off, right? So she was probably one of the carers at whatever facility, right? Or someone running some kind of bus service for mentally challenged. Who the fuck knows, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, he didn't take a picture of the van because, well, apparently he had enough sense to not do that. Not to include just some random lady in Christian shenanigans. Which, you know, that's good. That's actually probably a good call. But yeah, just those 2 things I find very interesting. Just because the van kind of confirmed, like, and again, this is taking this guy's word on it, right? But considering the amount of photos he pumped out of, like, the Walmart shit, I would be... I would believe him just because of that. Like, why would he lie about that? There's no real reason to. But yeah, if he got in the van, that means, okay, he's probably at some group facility, or he has access to some kind of, like, transportation service. One of the 2. And the other one is that Switch. So, just because he got a Switch doesn't necessarily mean he's going to be fully online anytime soon. Just because the Switch doesn't actually have a camera on it. And I feel like that really needs to be stated and just put out there because some people don't seem to understand what functionalities a Nintendo Switch has, which I find very bizarre. Because you cannot see a fucking camera on it at all. Why would you even think that? So yeah, he's not going to be recording any kind of captain's locks on this thing anytime soon, if at all.
Well, I know for the fact that
mean...
the Wii U did have a camera on its controller, so that's probably why.
Yeah, but maybe. I mean, there's an infrared sensor on the controllers, like on the Joy-Cons, but that's not a camera.
Yeah.
It's not really the same thing, so yeah, Switch just doesn't have cameras. But it does have it does somewhat have internet connectivity. If anyone has ever followed me on Twitter before and they've seen me dump a bunch of like screenshots off my Switch, yeah, that's directly from the Switch. You can connect it to like a Twitter or a Facebook account and just post directly. I think if Chris is ever going to post shit online at this point, because I think he might have been advised against getting a phone. Because, like, why the fuck hasn't he said anything online then? Although, in saying that, he's probably locked out of every single fucking account he's ever had, and if he made a new account, it'd be very hard to prove it was actually Chris, because so many people would be faking being Chris. It's kind of a author of my immortal situation going on here.
I'm kind of shocked we haven't seen it so far.
Yeah, but that makes me think either he's been trying, but people... It's just so far under the radar that no one has picked up on it. Or people have looked at it and gone, haha, lol, you're not Chris. Which is also a very real possibility. Or he's just been strongly advised against it and he's just apparently following through for once in his life. But in saying that, I do kind of... I have a bit of a hunch, right? A bit of a theory, if you will. That whenever we see Chris next, online at least, it's not going to be a video. It's not even going to be him, posting, like, just generally posting, like, yeah, your Lord and Savior returns. It's going to be a Switch screenshot. Just unironically, it's going to be something from that fucking Switch. Like, I may be wrong, but I genuinely kind of believe that.
I could see
that is a big possibility here. Yeah, because it's Chris. He can't resist the allure of the internet. But,
especially if you're allowed to talk through... is there a microphone on the Switch? I'm
no,
not sure.
Well, I don't think there is. There is a way to communicate with people who are playing the Switch, but it requires a phone app where you use like the Nintendo Online app and use voice chat through that, which I have no idea why the fuck anyone would do that. But it's an option, and again, it requires him having a phone, which we don't really know if he's really able to obtain a phone, right? Like, it's a bit of a weird one because we don't know the exact limitations that he's working with. Like, apparently he's allowed to buy a Switch though, so. But yeah, there's a bit of a speculation that he might not even be in a group home, like, just because, well, I mean, look, like, the Walmart stuff is one thing, right? Because he's in a confined space, and it's May 1st. So, yeah, possible group home outing, right? Then he gets in the van. But the fact that the day after he's seen in a game store, that's a little weird. Right? And it's not as if, like, these places are really right next door to, any of the group homes that he might be in, or the one that is heavily suspected he probably could be in. No, this is still quite a distance away. He would have to be driven here. So, May 1st, Walmart. May 2nd, card store. It's just a little odd, because in group homes, they wouldn't necessarily just be like, okay, Chris, what do you want to do today? I want to go to the game store. Oh, sure, Chris, let me just, like, no, that's not really how they tend to work, right?
Let's pull everyone together and just drop you off.
Yeah, it's just very, just doesn't strike me as very group homey. It strikes me more as he's staying with someone and they're just able to drop him off places, you know? Which is where the whole thing of the interesting note of those two, his aunt and uncle, living in the same place comes in, right? Because it is a it is a possibility he might be with them, but it's a very small possibility, though. Because, I mean, they helped Bob, right? Why the fuck would they help the guy that hurt Bob?
Yeah.
Even if he is related. Like,
make sure he can't do it again.
Yeah, but he's in, like, Midlothian, which is, like, a distant, quite the fucking distance away from where Bob would be. Like, it's like an hour and a bit drive between the two places. It'd be a bit weird, right, if that was the only reason, but...
So he's not going home anytime soon?
No. Oh, he's not returning to the Sonichu Temple. Probably ever. He's probably never seen that place again. But... And this isn't to say... Like, Alright, so... Stop sharing, because I don't need to share that anymore. That's all my photos. Presentation done, yay. And that's not to say that, Chris is, you know, out of any kind of legality. No, as far as I'm aware, the court stuff is still scheduled. He's still supposed to appear in court. It's just whether or not, he's going to completely get away with it. But hey, at least now he's gonna have a sick time at the game store and Walmart.
Yeah, that's pretty wild that this is all still pending and he's been released. I mean, apparently without bail to
Yeah,
just
and
roam free until this concludes.
yeah, and I think again the autism deferral, right? And keep in mind he was also in a psych ward for a bit there. It may honestly be like them trying to just get his mental health shit together. You know, like and trying to somewhat rehabilitate the guy, which is just I understand, but I don't really think that it's great that they're just like I don't know, letting him roam free. Like that's just a bit weird. That's a little bit weird to me. Like but keep in mind though, like innocent till proven guilty, right? Like he's being held on charges. He hasn't actually been charged. Like the group homes that they think he's in specifically states, yeah, they don't take in sex offenders, but he hasn't actually been registered as a sex offender because he hasn't actually been charged with anything as of yet. It's all just allegations.
So could it be
allegations he probably did, but allegations.
Could it be something like a pre-release?
Maybe. I'm not entirely too sure, like, what the fuck's gone on here. All I can think of is going back to that autism deferral and thinking, I think that actually started, like, that's what started this. Like, I genuinely think that is a big part as to why he's able to walk around just freely, because that ball started rolling, and then they decided, like, they obviously looked at him and went, yeah, let's do something there. But it also might be a prison crowding thing going on here, right? Like they just want him out of the jail so they don't have to deal with him in there, so they can take in more people or some shit. Like, who the fuck really knows?
Better to not have to take care of him than have to clean up after him.
I mean...
Yeah, exactly. They didn't have to deal with him playing solitaire on a prayer mat anymore. Like, it could be any kind of thing, right?
Virginia here lately, it does seem to have a track record with sex offenders. So...
Yeah, it's...
There was that one case from the school where they didn't want to report it, so they just moved into a different school, like a Catholic priest.
Yeah.
Yeah, alright. But, yeah, again, like, I don't really,
Had you not heard of that story?
I don't really know what. Not really, no.
So,
teenage boy wearing a skirt goes in the girl's bathroom and raped a girl he had previously had sex with. And
lovely.
Yeah, the dad. I don't remember how the dad found out about it. I think they called him to say that there was, like, something going on with his daughter, and he didn't find out what was going on until he got to the school. And he wanted them to call the cops, but yeah, they really didn't want to do that. And he ended up getting arrested at a school board meeting for like disorderly conduct or something, because he was trying to talk about it at the school board meeting, and they shut it down before he could get up to speak. But yeah, so like they shoved that kid off to another school in the district, and he assaulted another girl.
Of course he did. Of course.
Because, yes.
Right.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm checking. Yeah, it doesn't look like he's been seen anywhere else, so... Sorry, that's what I was listening. It's just I'm also just trying to check that. But
maybe the lawyer called him up and was like, "Hey, remember when I told you to not to be like sending all those letters in jail? Stop going out.
Yeah.
Low profile, motherfucker. Literally."
Well, Chris probably thinks this is low profile, honestly. Like, he probably thinks this is, he's not drawing too much attention to himself, but it's just, you're wearing your medallion, man.
I mean, at the very least, put on, like, one of those Groucho, glasses.
Yeah, God, right. But that's pretty much the Chris update, though. Like, that's all there really is. Like, he's out. He bought a Switch. He may or may not be in a group home. We don't really know. But chances are yes. Meaning he's probably getting the first bit of help he's ever had in his fucking life. Which is sad that it took soul bonding with his own mother to get there.
Now I'm sleep deprived, and it's been a couple weeks since we did the stream that I was on.
Mm-hmm.
Am I remembering correctly that Christian has or did have a Animal Crossing or?
Yeah.
Now is that playable on the Switch?
Yeah, there is an Animal Crossing game. I think he did have that. Because that was out. I think that was out before he got arrested. So I think he probably already had the game. But the problem is he doesn't. When he was arrested, he didn't really have access to all of his stuff. Like, that was still in the Sonshu Temple, right?
Uh-huh.
And yeah, there's no way he's going to be able to get that stuff now, even. So that's why he bought another Switch.
So he would have to start like a new account for the Animal Crossing. He wouldn't be able to get back in the old one.
Yeah, he would. He would absolutely have to start a new one.
Unless he somehow remembers his password.
No, not even that. You would have to transfer actual the physical Switch. So
the
so you would need
locked down to the one console.
Yeah, that's how the Switch works. It's locked down to the to your account that's on the Switch. So
I'm also behind on the video games. Like the last one I had was PS3.
Now that I think about it, we went from Wii to Wii U and kind of did the same thing. We took the data from the Wii and just moved it over.
Yeah, it's fair enough that you don't know about this, but I've only had to do this once. But you kind of need, from what I understand of how it works, you kind of need actual access to the console itself when you're doing this. Like, you can transfer an account to a different Switch. It's just, again, you kind of need to be accessing said Switch that your account is on to do this. And Chris doesn't have access to it, so... Yeah, starting from scratch. And that goes for literally any game he got his hands on, because it's not as if the save data for the game is saved.
Did we lose the stream?
Onto the chip.
So chat disconnected.
Oh.
No.
No, I haven't seen anything.
Still live on my end.
Oh.
So I'm wondering what happened there, because, that was weird.
JB says test in chat.
Yeah, because the chat disconnected for some reason. I'm wondering if that was... That
must have been you, Johnny.
Probably.
Yeah, probably. I haven't seen any disconnect.
But yeah, there's... I just saw the chat disconnect, but I didn't see a buffer, so it's really kind of weird. But then again, shit's been weird on my computer for the last couple days, so...
Weird computer things. Nice. But, long story short, though, any game that Chris gets, he'll have to start from scratch, because it's just... Yeah, he can't transfer the data. He doesn't even have his original Switch.
Alright, so...
Game data's not saved on the chips. It's saved onto the console.
If past is prologue, and you're a card-carrying Christorian and a prophet of cringe.
Oh god!
If you had to prognosticate
a
this one, Far, how do you see this playing out?
Well, first off, the prophet of cringe thing only really happens when I make a joke, so I can't just pull the prophecy out of my ass.
I want like Oracle of Delphi level, swing for the fences.
You're gonna have to go somewhere else for that one.
So we have a pretty big storm hitting here. So if I do happen to lose the stream, chances are that is why.
Oh, so that's what I'm hearing in the background. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, that's what that was. All right. But you want a just prediction, right? What's from here, right? Like which? Is that what you're asking?
If you had to guess, yeah, just like how do you see this playing out?
Okay. I'm trying to think of how I see it because I've had a couple of thoughts as this whole thing has been going on, right? Like originally I thought when he was arrested, oh yeah, he's going away for a long time, right? Mm-hmm. And I think a lot of people thought that that this would be the last time you'd ever see Chris free.
Right?
It
did seem pretty open and shut to me. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think a lot of people thought that. How I kind of thought that, right? But
we haven't gone through the trial yet. We've just gone through the start.
Yeah, and that's kind of the problem because I was kind of aware that he managed to have this weird talent for getting out of legal shit. I think everyone kind of knew that, but I didn't realize the extent of it because a lot of what I know of Chris is earlier stuff, right? When it comes to the later stuff, like I'm more caught up on it now, but that's just because there's so much less of it to go through at the moment. But especially when he was initially arrested, yeah, that's more my focus, to be honest. It's the earlier stuff like Liquid Chris, unfortunately the whole Blue Spike thing, Surfshack Tito to an extent, because that's just fucking funny. But you get what I mean? Like, way more earlier stuff than the actual current present, because that's more what I found funny. Present Chris is just depressing. I think everyone can agree on that.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, I didn't really quite realize how easy it is for Chris to get out of any consequences.
Yeah, non-stick
if you would,
fan.
Yeah, it's
Teflon coated Sonichu.
Yeah, the Teflon Sonichu, if you will. But if you were to ask me now, I guess what I want is for Chris to actually, I do want him to actually face consequences for this. And I think everyone does, but yeah, I would like him to face consequences. Do I think he's necessarily going to? Yes and no. Yes, in a sense of, I think he's... At this point, it's going to be very hard for them to not have at least a fucking trial, Just because of everything that's happened, right, in this whole mess. Like, I'd be shocked if they didn't have a trial, at least. Do I think that's necessarily going to lead anywhere? I mean, it's hard to predict with Chris, honestly. Because you think, look at the one joke at the top corner here of my little capture here, right? Despite your worst fears, Chris won't rape anyone, so stop saying that, and then, like, that's taken from the quickie. Probably not that long after everything came out. So, that is kind of, as funny as that is, it's also kind of proof of, certain things with Chris are very hard to predict. Like, very hard. And...
Because, I want him to face consequences. Like you said, just about everybody wants him to face consequences for this. But I guess I'm, getting more and more jaded as I get older, and it's just like, I mean, unless they've got like plenty of physical evidence, like forensic stuff, it's a elderly dementia patient.
Yeah, it's hard, isn't it?
There's been a trend of being softer on crime. If I'm not mistaken, well, no, the governor of Virginia is now a Republican, but the court system, legislature. I mean, like you said, he's being charged with something that it's usually reserved for the reverse, not the.
Yeah, exactly. Because it's not available in the drop-down menu. It's so
I think
unheard of.
As much as I want to believe that he'll get his comeuppance, I'm also equally. I'm equally just kind of doom scrolling here, thinking it's like. Very possible that he escaped.
Yeah, and that's kind of the problem. No one can really say for sure which it's going to be. I mean, I think there's some actual physical evidence they probably have, because otherwise.
Okay, now I'm getting the spinny wheel. Oh, no, it's gone.
Oh, but I think they probably do have some physical evidence, just because of the sheer amount of time that they were holding Chris for before, he got released, right? That's not nothing. That kind of indicates that they have something there, because otherwise they can't just hold him like that.
Yeah, but I mean, also like the releasing him quietly and
yeah.
That it kind of is like a counterpoint to it, though. It's like, yeah, they held him, they held him for a good long while.
Yeah, but then you take into account the autism deferral stuff, right? You take into account he went to a psych ward, the fact that he's probably in a group home right now. Like, they do things like that for people like Chris. They do just go, okay, we're putting you into this specific facility, one part because we want to free up jail space, the other part because we just genuinely cannot deal with you.
It makes me wonder, like, with that autism deferral, if maybe they're gonna, have like maybe a competency hearing or something like that.
Yeah, and I think
maybe they're
that's probably
gonna
what's
bring in the stay at the psych ward and.
Yeah, and unfortunately. Ooh, wow, that was a rumble.
Does he understand what he did?
Yeah.
I just had a flash, so are we still going?
Yeah, I think we're still going.
Still live on the stream, at least on my end. Did get the spinny wheel a few seconds ago, but it cleared up almost as soon as it started.
Because I'm thinking it's because this is starting to get a little bit stronger, so I think we should probably call it. That way it doesn't get... And we'll have to carry on whenever we don't have Storm.
We'll have to bring in if there's any more updates, our on-the-scene reporter.
I was going to ask about, what is this, Twilight Sparkle's secret shipfic folder?
Oh, fucking hell. Fuck me. You want a long story short with that one? Like, it's very quick to explain.
Is that some My Little Pony shit? Because that sounds like some My Little Pony shit.
It is. Like, Chris is like one of the first bronies, and I don't... It's weird to say that. Because this was before the brony thing was even a thing.
Trailblazer.
So, this is... Yeah, he is an absolute fucking trailblazer, this man. In the worst kinds of ways, sometimes. But, basically, Twilight Princess is a super secret shipfic, whatever the fuck. It's a fan-made trading card game, and Chris found it at a BronyCon convention or some shit. I think it was a Brony convention somewhere. I forget which one. But he found this, and he got... This became one of his weird things he kind of obsessed over for a little bit, and he would make his own custom cards for it. That's all there really is to it.
Because
it's just dumb.
I found this in the Did You Know section.
Mm-hmm.
Bundy Chew.
Oh, yeah, Bundy Chew. Okay, yeah.
So yeah, we'll definitely have to go over this one next time.
God. Fucking Ted Bundy.
When worlds collide.
Well, that one again, I can easily just sum that up now. Actually, yeah, he had an interview with Count Dankula, right? And in it, yeah, and in it, he lists like, oh yeah, because this is deep, Chris delusion.
Christian
right?
did.
Yeah, I remember it happening. I didn't actually sit down and watch that one though.
I'm gonna have to dig.
It is worth watching just for this one bit alone. Like I crack up every time I see it. And he's like, okay, how many like half Sonotubes are out there? Because yeah, Chris believed he was half Sonotube, and he also believed his father was part Sonotube, which is like Robert Chew. Yeah, way to remember your dead father there. So he's like, oh yeah, there's me, there's Robert Chew, and then there's Ted Bundy Chew. Chris, because of the idea, I think this was an idea guys thing, right? Where they put this idea into his head, as they were wont to do, that Ted Bundy actually didn't do any of the crimes we all know he committed. He was framed.
The pornography
Chris
made him
actually
do
believes that. No, he believes he's fully innocent, and yeah, as a result, he made a
Bundy
he
Chew.
made a Sonotube version of Ted Bundy. And he believes, like, yeah, Ted Bundy, he didn't do anything wrong. Just, yeah, it's as simple as that. It's dumb, but it is fucking hilarious.
I mean, OJ still looks like that Puerto Rican guy, right?
God, the moment he brings it up on Count Dankula's stream, because keep in mind, that was a live thing that happened. I am impressed with Dankula, honestly, for not losing, like, his goddamn mind over that one. Because he just, like, goes, Ted Bundy Chew. Tell me more, Chris. Basically, right?
Well, I'm hearing it in the that
yeah,
Scottish.
Like, Ted Bundy Chew. Tell me more, Chris.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm hearing it with the subtitles and everything right now. Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it's just, yeah, it's. Oh god, because I would just be losing. If that was me, if I was in Dankula's shoes, I would just be fucking losing my goddamn mind over Ted Bundy Chew. Because oh my god,
Oh, this was some time ago.
Watching the part of the Gino, yeah, even when I was watching the part of the Gino Savio documentary, right, and I knew it was coming. I knew it was coming up, right? The whole Ted Bundy Chew shit. I still just fucking lost it because every time it's the delivery of it. Just
tell me more, Chris.
Yeah, and Ted Bundy, like he just like states it as if it's like a complete, you know, like the sky is blue,
like you shouldn't even bat an eye at it. Yeah,
Ted Bundy is innocent. Like what the fuck?
Yeah, I'm starting to have waves in my thing, so yeah, we're gonna have to.
Yeah, okay.
We're definitely gonna have to call
That's
it.
fine.
I went from excellent to good to fair, back up to excellent, back down to poor, back up to excellent. So yeah, we'll definitely have to call it, and yeah, we'll see where we can go from there. But yeah, thanks for joining us.
No
the world waits with bated breath for your next report, FAR. Just so you know.
Is there anything that we're missing that you can think of?
At this point, it's pretty much whatever you guys really want. It's like that's really where we are.
At some point, we'll have to do the 6 degrees of Chris Chan with all these other lolcows that have been.
Oh god, right, yeah.
In the periphery.
You know, we can see if we can talk to Alex and see if he can, because I know that he is indirectly attached to this, vastly indirectly, because of course he did the video with Janky, Stanky Janky.
Yeah, be careful with that one.
But
like unironically, be careful with that.
Well, I figure if he would know how far to go with the information. So
yeah.
Well, that's going to be difficult logistically with the time zones.
That is true.
Unless you want to do like a mid-afternoon Minions.
Or I'd have to be on our own stream.
Yeah.
More than likely, that would have to be the way to go about it. So, but yeah, I'm sure we'll think of something. But yeah, no, thank you for joining, and
no problem.
Yeah, we will see you on the next one. Have a good night, everyone.
Bye, everybody.
See ya.